Hi, this is Bill. Welcome to another installment. Welcoming you to another installment of Billboard Comics feature Growing Up Comics. This week, we are going to cover a very special feature. It's going to be the time that I appeared on a comic book cover. Um, let's set the stage for you. It's May 9th, 1989. I'm preparing for my last month of schooling at high school at Pittston High School. Soon that personal nightmare will be over, and I will be able to join the working world full of fear and trepidation that the same BS that haunted me in high school will carry over into the real world. Uh, Briefly optimistic that I will be able to go to college, but that will not end up happening because of my family's financial situations. But nonetheless, it's a mix of expectant time and uneasy time for me. So I go where I usually go to for my solace is to comic books. I pick up my weekly haul, and of course I'm getting the Justice League America title. This was the number the series that had J.M. DeMatteis and Keith Giffen and Kevin McGuire as the team on it. It started off as Justice League, and then Justice League International, and then Justice League America. Um, which I just keep them all together. I don't even try to move them around. Um, it makes it hard to keep track on databases because they bounce back and forth. But I digress. That's not an issue for today. Um, Around the time of May of 1989, issue number 28 came out. It was a special issue where Guy Gardner, everybody's favorite butthead, managed to get Ice, the character from Global Guardians, uh, a new member of the team, to go out on a date with him. The cover shows exactly what kind of date they're going on. They're standing in front of a rated X movie theater, and you know, surrounded by local characters. Um, Guy Gardner is dressed in a green suit. She's dressed in a blue dress with blue leggings, kind of keeping in with their colors scheme of their characters. And they had a person on either side of them. Um, to their right, but the reader's left, is a guy looking through a uh, centerfold of a what obviously is a nudie magazine. Oh, I love you so much, I think he says on top of it. On their left, our right, is a guy, big guy, Zoftig guy, walking down the street, wrestling with an ice cream confection, and mumbling underneath his breath. That's me. Um, and you say, wow, that doesn't seem like a positive portrayal of you, Bill. Did you win a contest to go on this? Nope. Were you friends or family of Giffen, DeMatteis, or McGuire? No, I was not. Um, then how did you get on cover? I don't know. I have absolutely no idea how that was. And you say well, how do you know it's you? I mean, it could be anybody, and it could be anybody, but that's the whole point of it. That was the way I looked at that time of my life back then. Now, you're saying, looking at now, you say okay, well, you look ruggedly handsome, Bill. You have such suavity and machismo. You don't look like that little like dork on there. Um, yeah, but it's let's go through this again. Let's see this. They're point by point, and I'll show you what I'm doing this. Uh, First of all, let's start with the head. As you can see, the character there has a double chin, but if you can see his main chin has a cleft in his chin. He has the square wire glasses, has a goofy looking haircut. Now, let me now compare and contrast with just how I looked back then. Now, I want to warn you, if you're eating or if you're on some sort of medication that makes you nauseous or anything, this might be a jolt to your system. I warn you. Hopefully, you know, if you look at this, you probably could stomach pretty much anything you look at. But just a warning, this might be a little bit severe. Just a warning. This is my high school photo from around that time. Same doofy haircut, same square wire glasses, same cleft in the chin. And here, just to make sure that you know what's going on, let's compare them together, side to side. Do you see the resemblance? Because I did. I saw it really well. Um, but let's go on. Let's go further. Let's look at the T-shirt that I'm wearing. It's a Batman T-shirt. Yes, it was weeks before the Batman movie directed by Tim Burton and starring Michael Keaton came out. A lot of people in the United States were wearing Batman T-shirts around that time, especially if you're a certain age. I was one of them. Here are some designs that I wore, and the design at the time also. I had the one with the Batman in yellow framing running down the side. I also had one of my favorite T-shirts of all time, the Joker one. I wore that Joker so much that it fell apart. I actually had to cut off the sleeves and made it into like a sleeve shirt, and then it's continued to deteriorate, and I had to eventually get rid of it. I missed that like more than I missed like certain family members. Um, Kidding, not that I'm not that shallow, but nonetheless, that was a main part of my wardrobe for most of that time. Um, I probably had to save up my allowance. I bought a whole bunch of them because I was really geared up for the Batman movie. Probably next installment, I'll tell you about how it was to be alive in the time between the Batman TV series and the Batman movie, and the certain kind of hysteria that was in and around during the lead up to that Burton movie. But that's for next week, probably, and I digress. So yeah, that was I wore those constantly everywhere I went. Now let's go down a little bit lower to the pants. As you can see, this character is wearing gray sweatpants. That was my bottom half of my body clothes of choice for me. Um, they were comfortable, they're functional, they had pockets, and I didn't really feel like getting myself into jeans and putting on a belt and doing all that kind of jazz. These were much more comfortable for me to wear, but I wore them everywhere. If I'm going out to the store, I wore them. If I'm going to like the movies, I wore them. If I had to go like someplace special, like hanging out with family or anything like that, I'd put on a good pair of jeans or dress pants if I really had to. But for most time, I was wearing them 24/7 um, around the house and outside the house. Um, I was 17, so you know it wasn't really that big of an issue. But that's why I like also. But I also have sympathy for people who women who wear yoga pants because they're comfortable, even though they're a workout specific garment. You wear them because they're comfortable and stuff like that. So I understand that. So that's you know good on you. Um, I would not want to wear them because the more weight you have on, the less effective yoga pants are in uh, looking good. Um, but you live your own life. I'll live mine. Now let's go into shoes. Cheap pair of high top sneakers. Yep, that was my style at the time. Um, it was either that or Chuck Taylors, but mostly I did these because it gave me a little extra support for my ankle. I always thought I had kind of like dodgy ankles. But the primary evidence that this might be me on the cover is what the character is struggling with in his hands. This, ladies and gentlemen, is an Oreo ice cream sandwich. This was my confection of choice back when I was 17. It's probably a big reason why I'm a diabetic today, and I'm also, a big, chunky guy. Um, I used to get these all the time. I used to get and they used to come in like those packages like that, or in like a kind of like a cardboard, kind of like round, like hat box, tiny hat box kind of thing that you pull up the top and comes out easy. Those were easy to open, but they also had like stuff that were in plastic wrap, which were far harder to open, and I usually have had trouble dealing with. I usually have to struggle with getting them open, just like this character is here. So all these things here add up to like a snapshot, an uncannily accurate snapshot of who I was there. Imagine my surprise when I get my comic books and I see that on there. I'm like, holy crap. You start getting paranoid. You think like, wait a minute, does DC Comics have spies around? Or do they follow me? What's going on? Does Kevin McGuire live in my whole town? Is that what did he take a picture of me and like he's doing on this? I've never asked him. I got met him a couple times. I've got autographs and prints off of him, um, but I never had like the courage to actually, and also the you know willingness to put through the effort to try to couch the question to him. It's not really an easy question to ask. Like, um, back in 1989, for the cover of Justice League America number 28, you had this guy on the side wrestling with like a ice cream thing with sweatpants and a Batman T-shirt. Um, where'd you use that for motivation? Who's your inspiration for that? Because that's the way I look back in the time, and like who knows? That could be a lot of comic fans look like that. A lot of comic fans like might have had that stuff. Like I mean, like I said, Batman T-shirts were everywhere. Um, I'm sure I'm not the only person who wore sweatpants, baggy sweatpants out in public. Um, so all that. So it could be just a coincidence, but it is like one of the most outrageous coincidences of all time. I can't speak. My nose is a little stuffed up. I apologize, but it has freaked me out, and it still freaks me out to this day. This is like it still sticks with me. I think about it every so often, like, like, is this really me on there? Did somebody actually serendipitously take a picture of me and send it in and use this as reference? Was he in Wilkes-Barre for some reason and saw me walking from the local Turkey Hill, eating my ice cream sandwich? I probably will never know. Um, but yeah, but it's just uncanny accurate. I will say this one thing: um, the one major difference between the character and me at the time is that I covered up my belly. My belly did not sneak out or make its appearance known to the general public. I was getting made fun enough just by my basic like greasy hair, bad complexion, bargain basement clothes, hand-me-down clothes, and all that jazz. I didn't need to give the people who were picking on me more ammunition to pick on me. So that's the one thing that was different between them. So like, you know, I kept the shop closed up. The shirt was over the pants. The pants were probably hiked up higher than they really needed to be to cover that. So there's never ever any kind of like, you know, bare midriff happening. No muffin top, no nothing. So that's the one difference between the two. I'm sure you really wanted to hear that, but hearing me say muffin top was probably checking off one of your bucket list items. But no, that's the story of the time I appeared on a comic book cover without my knowledge, without my permission, and maybe not even like intentionally. I hope you like this little walk down memory lane, and let me know what you think in the comments. Do you think that looks like me? Do you think that could look like me? Do you think have you ever found yourself somebody who looks like you either in a comic book or on a comic book cover? You want to point that out and have a discussion about it? Um, comment about that. We could have a discussion there. Let's start a discussion on that. That's what the comment page is there for. Um, if you made it all this way, I think legally you're mandated uh, through the YouTube bylaws to leave a like. Hey, well, my hands are tied. Um, I'm joking. You don't have to do anything, but I would really appreciate it. It helps with the algorithm and helps where I want to take this site in this site in the future. And yeah, and if you feel you need to share this with anybody, please by all means share. Uh, but yeah, so that's this latest installment. And if you like to, another edition of Growing Up Comics will come next week to you. Uh, like I said, it'll probably be the Batman movie stuff, um, which hopefully you'll find fascinating or informational. But until then, um, keep on collecting.